News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with the latest in the search for conservative activist Charlie Kirk's killer. The founder of Turning Point USA was shot Wednesday while speaking to a crowd at Utah Valley University. Last night, the FBI released surveillance video of a suspect dressed in black darting across a rooftop on campus, swinging over the edge and walking past a parking lot. Earlier, authorities said they had recovered the rifle used in the killing and released photos of their person of interest. Utah Governor Spencer Cox says they have a mountain of evidence.
The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox is also accusing China, Russia, and other adversaries of spreading disinformation about the case to encourage violence. He says the state will pursue the death penalty against Charlie Kirk's killer.
Well, Nathan, President Trump says he plans to attend Charlie Kirk's funeral next week in Arizona. He says he's heard investigators are making big progress in finding Kirk's killer.
I'd rather not say. I think progress is being made. He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful.
President Trump says he's spoken with Kirk's wife, Erica. Earlier, he announced he plans to award Kirk a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom. The president spoke to reporters on his way to New York City, where he attended last night's Yankees game to mark 24 years since the September 11th attacks. And for more on this story, you can check out the latest episode of the Big Take podcast covering the legacy of Charlie Kirk and how his death is ripping through the political world.
Well, Karen, Charlie Kirk's murders add to it a record surge of political violence in the U.S. A Bloomberg geoeconomic analysis shows there have been 5 assassinations or attempted assassinations since 2021. That's the most of any 5-year period going back to the 1960s, and that number includes the 2 attempts on President Trump's life last year. In their research note, Bloomberg economists Jennifer Welch and Martin Quick say intensifying political polarization seems to be contributing to the rise. They say the risk going forward is that violence may lead to more violence.
Well, Nathan, we have new developments this morning in the Boston mayoral race. Josh Kraft, the son of New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, is dropping out after losing badly to incumbent Michelle Wu in this week's preliminary election. Kraft tells News Center 5 in Boston that he can make a better impact outside of the race.
The country's at a place now, we see it every day, where the vitriol and the political arguing and fighting, it's not leading to anything but anger and negativity.
Josh Kraft won just 23% of the vote compared to Wu's 72%. He shattered fundraising records and outspent Wu by millions, but his suspension leaves Wu all but assured of a second term in November. No other challenger advanced beyond the preliminary contest.
Turning to the latest on the trade front now, Karen, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is set to meet with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng next week in Madrid. The two will discuss trade, economic, and national security issues, and another sign that talks between the two sides are heating up. The discussions will also cover TikTok's status and efforts to combat money laundering. A 90-day tariff truce between the U.S. and China is set to expire in early November.
Well, Nathan, trade tensions between the U.S. and India may be easing. President Trump's pick for ambassador, Sergio Gore, says the two countries are close to resolving differences over a trade deal. India's purchases of Russian oil remain a key source of tension, and it's unclear how that would be resolved. President Trump slapped India with 50% tariffs last month.
And Karen, tensions between President Trump and the Federal Reserve continue. Now the Trump administration's looking to fast-track its bid to oust Fed Governor Lisa Cook. Let's get the latest from Bloomberg's John Tucker. John.
And President Trump has asked a federal appeals court to immediately pause a lower court decision blocking his attempt to fire Cook. This is an indication he wants this to go to the Supreme Court for the final word as soon as possible. The administration asked for a ruling by Monday. That's a day before the Fed starts meeting to vote whether to lower interest rates. Cook can attend that meeting as long as the ruling remains in place. Cook's lawyer says in a court filing an administrative stay would threaten Governor Cook's participation in next week's Fed meeting and potentially plunge the Fed's vote into turmoil. In New York, I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, we turn to the markets now, John, and futures are lower following another record close on Wall Street. Shares of Microsoft are higher. They're up 1.4% right now. The company and OpenAI have reached an agreement about the structure of their partnership, and we get more from Bloomberg's Annabelle Drulers.
A new public benefit corporation is going to be created. That's a PBC. It's important just to make some nuance here. It's not like a traditional corporation. A PBC still needs to balance making money with also more corporate social responsibility goals as well. But OpenAI is going to be investing $100 billion into this PBC.
And Bloomberg's Annabelle Druller says OpenAI is facing opposition to its restructuring from Elon Musk, who is accusing the startup of defrauding investors about its commitment to its charitable mission. Microsoft is the largest shareholder in OpenAI. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.